I know footwork. When you look at the sport of soccer, what you're going to find is a lot of famous NBA players played the sport and at times even attributed much of their success to the sport of soccer. You can look at players like Steve Nash, Hakeem Olajuwon. Even Kobe Bryant talked a lot about his love for soccer and about how he used to play the game of soccer every day growing up. Now, there are a lot of ways that soccer has possibly helped players. Of course, we could talk about footwork. We could talk about the ability to lower your shoulder and attack.
There's such a huge soccer influence. They seem to have a better idea of give and go and attacking and getting a head and shoulders past your defender and going right to the rim. I see the correlation for sure.
We could talk about how it helps mentally for passing the ball and moving without the ball, cutting and so on.
I mean, even if a basketball player wants to do some cross training, that's the best sport for basketball to do cross training because you get your conditioning, you also get your foot speed and footwork in, which helps me out a lot.
But no matter which reason we're talking about how soccer helps the game of basketball, we're talking about the fact that something outside of the game of basketball actually helps your performance for the game of basketball. So what did we just say? We talked about transfer. We talked about something that's not game situational. We talked about something that's not game reads, actually helping people succeed in the game of basketball. And this is a mindset that you have to grasp because it's a mindset that's being completely attacked logically when so many people say that everything you do in the game of basketball in your training has to be game situational and has to have game reads in order for it to transfer. If that were the case, then why do so many people attribute soccer to their success or soccer to simply helping them in the game of basketball?
If I were the czar of American basketball, I would make every player coming through the youth basketball program play football because it translates directly.
We have to wrap our head around this kind of logic. A protein bar, for example, is not in the game of basketball, but it's helpful. A good night's sleep is not in the game of basketball, but we all know the importance of that. A weight or a dumbbell is not in the game of basketball, but of course there's benefits of getting strong. And a soccer ball is not in the game of basketball, but so many have said it helped them with the game transfer itself. And of course, so many people say a cone is not in the game of basketball, but the transfer uses the exact same logic. See, everything we're talking about right now are things that simply give us game characteristics, game traits, or game benefits. That's the type of logic that we have to continue to use because not everything has to be game situational and not everything has to have a game read, but we can simply find things that have game benefits, game characteristics, and game traits. And that's the purpose of skill enhancement training.
I know.
Footwork.
Show me.
Now, all jokes aside, when we're looking at information being uploaded into a person's brain and them having the ability then to execute it, we're not that far off of what we're talking about here. Skill enhancement has automatic transfer in these types of ways. Just like you can upload information into a person that they can then execute, you can upload abilities, skills, traits that will then be able to be executed in the game. Too often we see people running through the motions in bad body positions, going through game situations, but not having good footwork. And then they have problems in the game because they never uploaded the footwork abilities and skills into their game. So you have to start looking at it through this type of logic. See, even if we took the game situations completely out of the picture and we just simply focused on giving a player footwork, equipping them with every type of footwork in the game of basketball, from our drops to our step-ins to our toe replacements to our hip rotations and hip switches, and we just simply focus on giving them all the abilities, all the traits, and all the characteristics of their feet, do we really have to ask the question how it transfers? Isn't it common sense that if you simply equip a person with the ability to have footwork, that footwork will start to be a part of their game, at least a part of their game that they can access, just like the clip in this movie. It doesn't mean that you're good at it yet. It doesn't mean that you're a master at it yet, but at least we can say that just the simple abilities give us automatic transfer. So when it comes to the game of basketball, Using this Gripmat as an example, mastering your footwork and spending time on all those details, it doesn't guarantee that you're going to be a basketball master, but don't let anyone tell you that it doesn't have transfer. Just like the game of soccer and just like the weight room, all of those things have transfer in different ways. So our responsibility right now is simply be able to say, I know footwork, and let the transfer take care of itself.